Hello Libra and welcome to your July 2024 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see everybody. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, you can always use this reading for sun, rising, and moon. Let's get started with your channeled messages. I had so many dreams last night coming through that I'm going to try to get as much of this into the channeled messages as possible. The first thing was strangely specific. So for those of you that maybe are looking for work, or you may already be working in a place, some of this may ring true. What I saw in these sort of circumstances was a lack of support and things that were not up to date. In particular, I was looking at antiquated equipment like typewriters. I was looking at computers that were like several generations old and outdated. And then I was looking at the environment itself, and it felt like it wasn't weatherproof, almost like it was an indoor-outdoor space with a canopy, and I was worried about the rain. And there was the sense of it being temporary, and again, just being on the outside looking in. And of all the cards in the Minor Arcana, Five of Pentacles sums up a lot of what I was seeing. Interestingly enough, all of this reminded me of, it was almost like it was nonverbal, passive communication where someone was trying to give you a hint, which is that they didn't care enough about what you're doing to kind of give you what you needed to go to the next level. So they're kind of, what I got from the whole visual was take it or leave it. This is as good as it gets. So if at that place, not as good as it gets when we're looking at possibilities beyond this, but they're not willing to go the distance. And so this is someone who just isn't giving you what you're worth. And that was the takeaway here. You know what it reminded me of? There's an old film now, I think it was from, it was either late 90s, early 2000s, called Office Space. And there's this main character that kind of keeps getting pushed to the sideline of the building, eventually into the basement. They take away his stapler. And there's a whole other plot line with that. But because they were not direct in their communication, they were trying to give this person a hint that, that they could do better. So that's what I got here, is that there's a situation in your life. It could be literally a job. It could also be a relationship. In fact, more often than not, Five of Pentacles has to do with a parent, a teacher, someone in our life that we really look up to that just doesn't give the support or the direction that we need. Sometimes it's because they're just not invested. Sometimes it's because they're wounded and they're just dealing with their own stuff and they can't be there for you. No matter what, as the title says, you deserve so much more, Libra. So you are free to move on from a situation where you're not getting your worth and you're not feeling supported, okay? That's message number one. The next dream that came through was basically being able to see through a facade. I was looking at someone who was an authority figure, a mentor, or a teacher, possibly a boss, someone that you look up to. And I was looking at them from the back, and just because dreams are symbols, what I saw was someone that was being programmed to do something. So it came through like they were a robot or an android, and they were just going through the motions, like reading a script, just like an actor would. But I wasn't seeing the ability to see beyond the script. So you may be at a point in your life where in order to break free and, spread your wings, you're going to have to rewrite the program. That's probably even a better title than what I have here. But you're going to have to take the lead by example, rewrite the program, do what you want to do, because there's someone around you who's very rigid in their thought. Emperor would work here. Hierophant would also work with this. I think this is also you being able to see through sort of like the facade that other people are putting out there. And you're starting to realize that it's important to be in a place where you can ask questions, think freely, have autonomy. So as you look at new jobs, new organizations, new opportunities, even new relationships, make sure that you have a say and that you have a voice. The last thing that I saw before I woke up today was an hourglass. All of the sand had just been spent, but fear not, it was turned over and reset. So this reset moment for you, Libra, is a chance to get into the energy of the Wheel of Fortune, a chance to make a new beneficial cycle in your life. If there's something you want to do, take action now. If there's something that you just couldn't quite accomplish before, it feels like everything has been reset and it's coming around again. And it reminded me of an old song by Journey, Wheel in the Sky. Everything keeps on turning and moving, and eventually, if you're patient enough, sometimes an opportunity can represent itself, or even an upgrade on that opportunity. The most important thing is to not get into your headspace too much, because maybe you didn't get the support you needed and that affected your self-confidence. Maybe you're in an environment where people are so rigid that it almost feels like they're a robot and they're not looking at the possibilities. This month, you're being encouraged, if not nudged, to spread your wings, to try something on your own, and to trust in your value, in your leadership, and in the ability for you to really hit this out of the park. So let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle, Libra, and see what other messages are coming through in the next 6 to 8 weeks. All right, close your eyes, call in your angels and spirit guides, and really kind of clear the slate so that whatever needs to come through comes through. And thanks everybody for joining. Let's give the cards a shuffle now and focus on messages from spirit. A lot of karmic lessons, Libra, have come to pass. I can see that already. Looks like some good stuff is on the way, particularly in the form of love and partnership. All right, I'm going to be quiet now and look at the rest here, but I just noticed some trends as I was shuffling. Just about every single sign has had 2 when it comes to catalyst this month. You're no exception. All right, let's get started with your dual catalyst, Jupiter and conjunction. So conjunction is probably the most powerful of the 2. That's why it came through in the sort of presenting energy, and then we have the passive energy underneath with Jupiter. Let's break it down here. A conjunction in speech connects words. So and is an example, or is an example, but is an example. And it helps us understand the relationship between those 2 words, and also it gives sort of meaning to the sentence. So it's the glue. This is one way. We could just look at it for the sake of this as the glue or the connection. In astrology, it's the distance between a couple of planets. In this case, it could be a conjunction with Jupiter in your chart. But more importantly here, what we're seeing is a connection that's going to take place. Because junction, it's basically where 2 things join. You have a chance this month to make an important, impactful, and possibly a very lasting connection with a person, place, or thing. So a new relationship, a job, or something that is just going to stick. Think of it as glue. That's exciting. The question here is, are you ready? Whenever something powerful comes through in the reverse, there could just be resistance to commitment, resistance to just believing that this can happen. But understand this, it's time. If you're ready, if you feel that deserving energy, that preparation, that sort of openness, a powerful connection can happen. And we have the infinity symbol, almost like an Ouroboros here at the center, which is showing that this time around, it's going to really be something lasting. Jupiter is all about expansion. And so you're closer now to this energy of expansion than you've ever been before, Libra. And I can see already as we looked at the cards today, many of you have been through a little bit of challenge in your life, and the universe rewards that perseverance and that the lessons that you've learned with energy like this. It's like you've gone through it. Now it's time for things to expand and for that expansion to be a constant and predictable state, at least for the next month. So let's embrace this. Let's look for connections, conjunctions. Let's look for areas of growth and opportunity. Let's begin with the centermost card, one of my favorite 10 of Swords, if that's possible. The reason I like this 10 of Swords is we see someone who is capable of recognizing triggers, potential pitfalls, and takes the high road. So here is basically someone that's on the heels of recovery. If you've been through something difficult, this portends good things. It's interesting to contrast this, if you will, with 2 other cards. We'll start with the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card. So this is much more dramatic. This is what we normally associate with 10 of Swords. And it's that feeling of pain, of anger, of frustration. And a lot of times it's difficult to kind of bounce back from this. But what we're seeing here is that pain can also be a teacher. So a difficult situation gives you wisdom. And with that wisdom, you're able to avoid painful situations in the future. You're all the more wiser. And that's really the big beginning to this month, is deciding to take a different path, bouncing back from a potential setback or disappointment, and not taking the bait if someone is trying to get you, angry or excited or anything of that nature. You're saying to yourself, I have better things to focus on. And that's what I'm going to help you do this month, is focus on where that potential growth and expansion is. Because this card was reversed, the other thing that comes through is an old Mary J. Blige song, which is No More Drama. So I just feel like many of you are all the wiser now. You're going to be all right. And you're just recognizing patterns and choosing not to re-engage with them. This can also represent healing. So if you've had any sort of surgery done, or if there's an injury, what we see here is you eventually being able to get up and walk away from this, but really focus on not rushing that recovery. It takes time. Crossing that center card is the Six of Swords. This represents, of course, movement and moving on. Some of you may be traveling. Also, by the way, there's some advantages to traveling. You could make new connections. Really beneficial ones, in fact, as we're looking at both the 2 and the 10 of Cups. You also have a lot to learn and a lot to offer during this period. So for business, for pleasure, and just for personal development, absolutely, yes, there's an advice from this card to just kind of explore travel options. What I am looking at in this is the liminal space in the middle here. So we can see the past, we can see the future, and the opportunity this month is to tie up any loose ends that may still exist. If there's something that you said that you were going to do, now's the time to deliver. If you wish you would have said or done something in the past, you can make good on that now. Saying I love you, saying I'm sorry, putting a boundary in place, whatever needs to be spoken, said, or released, allow that to happen. Otherwise, it's anchoring this ship and it's not allowing you to get to the horizon in front of you. So keep the energy flowing, keep moving, and focus on the potential. As we look at deep past, many of you have already started to do some amazing work here with the Three of Pentacles. This card is often connected to writers. It's also a card of learning, higher learning at that, or just really soaking in all of the knowledge. In tarot, we would consider this a card of mastery or expertise. What's interesting with this illustration is the signals, and this looks very much like a traffic signal. They're not in the right order. And since this is a card of communication, I think it's going to be very important for you, as I straighten my voice out there, to send clear signals. If you like something, say so. If you don't, just be very concise, clear, and to the point. In fact, that's what the Queen of Swords in reverse is all about. This is also a revising card. So if there's something that you're working on and you want to fine-tune it a little bit, work with an editor or do a second draft, absolutely. The Three of Pentacles reverse is not only acknowledging that, but it's saying you're very close to the finish line anyway, and this finishing touch is going to be really important. One last note, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, we see acknowledgement or validation coming through. Some of you may be waiting for the gold star, for that sort of acknowledgement that everything is great. Just because you haven't received it doesn't mean that the work that you're doing isn't great. This card here focuses more on the teamwork, this one more on the validation. So it's saying just trust in the process, put the quality in there. There may be delayed reaction, but when it comes forth, eventually we see someone who is interested in who you are, what you're doing, and what you're bringing forth. So delayed validation, but eventual validation nonetheless is what I see here. Let's get into the Queen of Swords in reverse. Well, this is you, first and foremost, Libra. Power of communication is something that I would want to see come through in the spread. When the card is upright, we just see someone who has an amazing ability to say the right thing at the right time. When this card is reversed, there are a couple of notes here. First of all, it's about making sure that you're not overdoing any of the communication and losing someone in the process. So in this situation, Queen of Swords is brief, less is more. She's effective in her timing well. She's going to choose this appropriately. So make sure that you check in with someone and say, is this a good time? And also, how are you doing? Just make sure that emotionally and energetically they're there, and from a resource and time perspective, that you are doing it at the right time. So if you are, then that brevity, that concise energy is going to be your best tool. The only thing that sometimes comes across with Queen of Swords when reversed is a lack of empathy or emotion. So it is important to infuse a little bit of enthusiasm and a little bit of care with everything that you're doing. So this is especially true when it comes to maybe a first date or an interview. Sometimes we try to play it cool. With the Queen of Swords in reverse, don't play it too cool. It's good to show enthusiasm and engagement. Now, more healing energy coming forth here in the crowning position. I want to take this at the highest possible interpretation, and then we'll talk about the other things that I see here. At its core, the Three of Swords in the crowning position is saying you deserve to be happy. And if we go back to some of the channeled messages here, not just happiness, but more than possibly what has been coming through. So if you're not receiving what you need from someone or something, then know your worth, push back, and reach for that Wheel of Fortune that I also saw. So that's it. You are also, this is saying you're enough. I'm really focusing on the heart, like an Ace of Cups almost. Love, happiness, acceptance, it all begins within. You're enough for yourself. If that's not good enough for someone else, don't let them try to pull at your heartstrings. You know you. And that's really what this is. We can see strings at the heart kind of pulling it in different directions. I wish I knew this when I was a child, but trying to make everyone happy, it just does not work. And even when you do, typically you're not satisfied because there's a lot that you have to give up to appease the masses. When you are an effective leader or just human being in general, you have to make decisions that sometimes are unpopular. It's okay. It's okay if you're doing what's best for you. So you should be following your heart, tuning into your heart, and taking care of yourself. This can represent what we see here, that sort of pain, and it actually came through in the Destiny card here, anger or rage, and that looks a lot like anger or rage when I'm looking at her. So it's okay to be angry when things don't go your way. It's okay to be upset. What are you doing to process them, though, and channel them into something productive? That's what I'm getting with this. Also, we can just look at this from a health perspective. Three of Swords is calling attention to your heart. So making sure that you're getting ample exercise, that you're eating right, and that you're doing any sort of stress reduction. All of these things will help the heart health. We'll talk more about that when we get into health, but just highly touching on that now. Trust. If I have to look at the one thing that's going to make or break anything, a relationship, a job, your own happiness this month, it's your ability to trust people and trust the environments that you're in. Obviously, the Seven of Swords in the upright position is the antithesis of that. It's someone who doesn't keep a promise at the very high level. It can also be someone who tries to get away with something and gets caught. It can just be a secret that you're keeping or your partner's keeping from you or a friend is keeping from you, but then it gets out into the open. My advice this month, because you're watching this in advance, is to just be honest, to be transparent. And if something happens like this, you get to decide, is it a one-time thing? Has the person never done this before? If so, there may be room for forgiveness and you just establish boundaries. If it's cyclical, then you put your foot down and you say, enough, right? This is a sort of decision that you'll have to make. Now, for everybody else where you're like, you know what, everyone's acting normal around me, this is just more of a reality check from the universe when it comes to your own health and your own promises that you keep for you. So if you say, I'm going to be better about, this can be burnout, by the way, not working so much that I get burned out, or not holding all the emotions inside so much that when they finally come out, it is in the Ten of Swords sort of anger fit. And that actually is something that we see here is the ability to find ways to neutralize this so that anger and rage go away. So if you say you're going to do it, do it. That's it. Just keep your promises to yourself. When you do that, then you start to attract the energy of the same in others. So accountability is the word I was looking for. You'll attract accountability. You'll attract people who have found a way to also, since we're looking at all these emotions and things, honesty, accountability, and calm. But you have to find it within first. And all of these sort of challenging cards really just have to do with letting your, kind of like making room for yourself to be happy and making that a constant routine in your life. Because sometimes we just get so busy in our day-to-day activities, in jobs, in school, relationships, that putting the lens internal, it's hard, right? Because we don't always want to have to answer to anyone, including ourselves. But if you can be accountable this month, so many doors are going to open up. And I think honesty, integrity, and accountability, just work on that with yourself, and you'll start to see it then in the environment. Now, as we take a look at you, it's pretty darn good. We have the Two of Cups. So this is why I wanted to do one card at a time. We're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves. This is a time for you to make connections. So we have Two of Cups energy. And if you start to work with all the stuff that we talked about, healing, integrity, moving and letting go of whatever it is from the past, continuing the great work that you're working on, then people start to see what you have to offer, and they like it. The Two of Cups is friendship, partnership, love, connections of a higher ground and a higher sort of energy. I like it. So if you're looking for love, yes. If you're trying to deepen an existing relationship, this is also good for that. And if you're looking for reconciliation, all of the above are a part of this energy. For everybody, irrespective of relationship status, it's a really important time to get out there. For work, you could make a new connection. If you're trying to expand your sphere of like colleagues and just experience, it's a really good time for networking, okay? So no matter how you look at that, as a representation of you, whether it's the Two of Cups, the Lovers, the Six of Cups, anything of that nature, it's showing attractive magnetic energy, and it's just basically up to you how you want to use that. But I definitely see two cards here, in fact, that are showing that you're pulling in a lot of great stuff this month. Some of it may surprise you. When we look in the environment, we have the Two of Swords, and this can represent something that comes unexpected. But cards like this depend on the cards around it. So we have you coming through with the Two of Cups. We have hope, fears, and opportunities presenting the Ten of Cups. And that means that there could be more love, more connection, more happiness than you're used to. And you're thinking to yourself, can I handle this? Can I do this? Yes, you can. The Two of Swords is also about not burying something that's important, not trying to ignore an ache or pain in the body, not trying to ignore someone who's doing something that they shouldn't. You're basically going to become the Queen of Swords here and speak up. In fact, if you need to say no to someone or stop, because the Queen of Swords reverse, she's very clear, she's very to the point, and it can be something like no, stop, or goodbye. Those words are very, very powerful. Single word, but an entire statement, entire sentence. So all of those things are coming through. From a health perspective, also checking out hearing and seeing. If there's anything going on with your eyesight or your hearing, now's the time to look at that. All right, as I said, there is an opportunity for new love or friendship to come through. It might be inconvenient, unexpected. Try not to get in your headspace too much if that's the case. This can also represent family or peer pressure. And remember, you deserve to be happy. You don't have to sacrifice your happiness for success or for acceptance. In fact, it's not really it doesn't work that way. So choose a path that's really honoring who you are. And lo and behold, look at this beautiful rainbow that wraps everything around. If family truly loves you, they're going to come along for the ride. You don't have to change for them if it's unconditional love. Otherwise, remember what I said. We'll pull it up one more time until it really hits home. You deserve more this month, and you can get more than that too if you let go of some of these people, places, or things in your life that aren't showing up with the support that really in this moment in time it feels like you're starting to attract. All right, as we take a look at the outcome, it's a little bit of a paradigm shift for you. So I think I had the traditional one over here and I want to pull it up here. So if we look at the traditional card first, then we'll look at this one. We can see mourning, mourning. So basically letting go of something and processing it. Once you've processed the grief, we have the Two Cups here and a bridge over troubled water. And lo and behold, the Two Cups are coming through. You're attracting that. It's right within your sphere. But it's a matter of kind of dipping your feet in the pool and thinking, am I ready? Am I ready for the rebound, for something new, for something better? You get to decide when you want to welcome that in. I hope you're ready, because it feels like many of you have been through enough, and now is the time to turn the tide. And that's what this whole reading is about, Libra. Healing, the power of positive thought, and the ability to really embrace the energy of the 2 and the 10 of Cups, which seem to be sort of swirling all around you, and they're very good. So I'm going to try to help you get there. First things first, so we're going to expand the forecast looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. All right, as we take a look at health here, we have confirmation. For those of you that have recently made a positive change, this card is just saying, yes, do it. Keep on doing it. If you're thinking about making a significant move or shift, particularly when we pair up the 6 of Swords and the Yes card, this is saying this is positive. So definitely take the necessary steps in your life for better health. Also, when we get into just the power of thoughts and words, this is about being affirmative, thinking to yourself, yes, I can, yes, I will, yes, I am. Putting that yes energy into all that you're doing and allowing for the possibilities. I think it's super important, especially since some of you might have been dealing with some things going on with your health or with your emotions. We don't want it to affect the ability, it's the same color scheme by the way, for you to see all of this love and joy that wants to present itself. Let's break it down card by card and see what it is that you should be focusing on this month with your health. So the 10 of Swords can be chronic pain, or for some of you, it can even be issues with the back. But I do like that we have someone standing up here and being able to get through whatever this exacerbation of that situation might be. We also see just getting out there and taking breaks as being very important. For those of you that are in a sort of workaholic phase, 10 of Swords can just be burnout. And this card is reminding you how valuable a vacation break or change of environment can be. Heart health, as we talked about earlier, so focusing on things like blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, and getting enough exercise, making sure all of that is taken care of, and then just finding a way to manage emotions, because 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords, definitely some important, and even the 5 of Cups. The good news as we look at all of this, it's a lessening of energy, but it is there and it's something that needs to be addressed. I think that this month, especially if you want to start something new, whether it's yoga or taking a hike or a different sort of diet or exercise routine, having somebody in your life to keep you accountable and check in is going to be good, because it may be difficult to make that change just on your own. So definitely look at team activities or having some sort of a partnership where that person can come through and give you the positivity that you need. Yes, you can do this. Yes, this is good progress, etc. Some challenges this month could come in the form of peer or familial pressure. Whatever is going on, whether it's the pressure to succeed, relationship pressure, etc., do your best to speak up and to create necessary boundaries and limits. As I said in the general reading, it's a really good time to go to the optometrist or an ear, nose, and throat specialist if there's anything going on with your hearing. Get things checked out. Make sure that you understand what's going on in your body. If you don't understand anything this month, ask questions. The 2 of Swords is a reminder that you don't have to be an expert in everything, rather. It's just a matter of being inquisitive, asking those important questions, and that's going to help you feel cooler, calmer, and more collected. And I think that's pretty much everything in this spread here. We've talked about a lot of it already, but it really is emotional and mental health, taking care of any sort of chronic or physical pain, and then just being accountable with whatever changes you decide to make. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to wealth. We have the Ankh coming through. I would connect this card to Magician energy because we see almost one of every element. This could also be connected to the Emperor or Empress because it's about power and empowerment. And as we're looking at wealth and work and career, this is reminding you that you always have the power to take that wheel and steer the ship, but you may also be feeling this sort of entrepreneurial push. And now is a great time to put the energy in starting something new, especially for those of you that have gone to school or worked really hard on creating something. Now is the time. Let's break this down into 3 major categories: those that are working, those that might be seeking employment, and those that are retired. So if you're working, the main thing, I've said it time and again, is not to burn the candle at both ends. I'll just say it a different way here. 10 of Swords can be physical and mental burnout, and you just want to take care of yourself before it ends up causing either one of 2 things: you getting sick or having an argument with someone when normally that wouldn't happen, but because you're working, and you're just sort of like at a diminished capacity with all of it because you just haven't got enough sleep and maybe enough food, you got to take care of yourself. When these things happen, oftentimes it is because we're just not the best version of ourselves. We're tired, we're cranky. So make sure that you're taking ample breaks and you're listening to your body. The other things that I'm seeing here for those that are currently working is really taking a look at the culture around you. Whether it's your boss or your coworkers, when Seven of Swords energy is happening, or Two of Swords energy, this is someone that's not paying you enough attention or not listening to you. This is someone who's not following through on what they say they're going to do. That makes it hard. That makes it hard to continue showing up. And that is probably what's leading to some of this. So if you're in that kind of environment, we talked about it several times already. You deserve better. And not only that, you have a chance here to get into the energy of the Wheel of Fortune, to start something fresh, to start something new. You do not have to settle for less. So this definitely resonates as I'm looking at all of the messages today. You deserve more validation than you've been getting. I mentioned that it's delayed here, but if it's consistently ignored, that's a different case altogether. Assuming everything is good with respect to your job, what I do see coming in for many of you is a chance to step up. It could take you by surprise. You may be in your own headspace wondering if you can do it, but based on this card and these, I would say yes, you can, and this as well. Everything is pointing towards capability, but managing emotional and physical burnout or stress, that is going to be important not just to open doors, but to keep you sort of in a positive and productive state. So that's the big takeaway for those that are currently employed. This is important. Like I said earlier, don't take the bait, but I would say don't speak when emotionally charged. If you're going to have a conversation that has like constructive feedback or anything difficult involved with it, give yourself ample rest, write a draft, revise it, write it again, and then get a second set of eyes and ears on that. There may be something you missed. Someone else may be able to help you fine tune it. And that's going to help you from kind of like just hitting the wrong tone. That's what I see with this in particular. But otherwise, I feel like this card is showing you that you had an unexpected ally. So again, if we go to the traditional Five of Cups, sometimes when challenging situations happen, you make a quick friend or a lasting alliance. People are going to see the power, the potential that you have to offer. You're going to see someone who truly had your back. And you may find yourself in the company of friends or people that really want you to rise up to the next level. So not getting into your headspace again is going to be really, really important. Now let's turn the focus to those of you that are looking for employment. Again, I want to pull the energy into this Ankh card, which is all about making sure that you feel empowered and inspired by whatever it is that you do next. Because as we kind of look at the historical energy or some of the current stuff that's going on, it feels like some of this could be almost giving you a bit of a confidence hit, which is understandable, but isn't necessarily indicative of what you have to bring to the table. That being said, working the network is going to be so important. Friends, family, colleagues, alumni, that's how you're going to find something. If you're looking, you can still make a connection happen on your own because of the sheer power of this card. So willing it into existence, really thinking positively. We were talking about that with health. It's also working here in wealth. Thinking, yes, I can. Yes, I'm worth this. Yes, I'm going to put it out there because I believe in myself. These two cards definitely work together here and making that conjunction or that connection happening. Yes, and I'm ready to do this. And I'm ready for a growth opportunity. It feels like that's the other thing. What is it that this new opportunity is bringing to you? That's what you really want to focus on. Come prepared, ask questions. Two of Swords is inquisitive and doesn't ignore any red flags or green flags. You really want to pay attention to the things that are drawing you in and why. I think the culture of the place that you're working at is everything. 2 and 10 of Cups are about community, either like where you're working or what you're giving back to the community or both. It seems like that's so important, so paramount to your general happiness. You need to have a voice there. And if there is anything that doesn't smell or look or seem right, just call it out because you want to break this cycle here. This is a card of burnout. this is a card of not being acknowledged. This is someone who lacks integrity. So what you want to be mindful of is if you've heard anything from people that have worked there, or just industry, common knowledge where certain places don't treat people well, don't apply there. You deserve better. Focus on energies that are receptive to you. And it does look like there's one or two options that are there. If you don't hear back, don't take it personally, because there are two things that are coming through here. One, you might be directed towards these better connections. So rejection is protection. When thing doesn't work out, something else that's better often does. But also, people may simply be traveling when you send an application or a resume to them. So give them some more time. It may take a little bit longer than a month. It could take 6 weeks, Six of Swords. But I do see things eventually moving around here. I feel like someone does have your back, and it's a matter of just reaching out, asking for help, or accepting an offer when it comes in. There is a sort of hidden ally, and it's just a matter of being able to either see that person or engage with them. And that's pretty much everything. One last note, this is before we get into students and retirees. This is a perfect time for those of you that are looking, if you want to get some training, to do so. I would say even those who have a job, that training or going back to school could be very advantageous in meeting new people and opening new doors. All right, shifting from those that are looking for work to students. Students, it feels like you may actually benefit in this period from either taking fewer credit hours in the next semester, taking a break, doing a gap semester, and maybe taking an internship or something of that nature, because this is clear kind of burnout to me. And it's important to get perspective and figure out what it is you're hoping to accomplish by going to school and how it's all meeting up, and if there's any changes that you need to make. Internships are so helpful, and taking a break is also important. Even just peeling back. There were semesters where I overloaded myself. There were others where I pulled way back. And it does not have to be the same template every semester. You're only competing with yourself on how quickly you finish. I know there's budget constraints for many of you, but like if it's an extra semester, but you're able to do it more successfully, why not just kind of push it out a little bit if needed? So that's my thoughts on that. All right, for those of you that are retired, it's all about healing this month. Mental happiness and physical happiness when we're looking at all of this, making sure that any sort of stress or anxiety is dealt with, any sort of physical energy is dealt with. Then I feel like there's a call to travel a little bit and really connect with friends and family. So healing, followed by travel, then friends and family energy coming forth. All of that being said, why don't we move on to love? And this is going to be all types of relationships. We have a really cool bear card on this one, the Sun Bear. The Sun card in tarot is birthing, it's creation, it's a vibrant card with a lot of charisma. And this is a cute bear. Unlike the traditional illustrations where we see a bear in a cave, this one is out in nature enjoying life. So I feel like coming out of your hibernation, coming out of your hermit phase is something that is really front and center with this particular card. Let's go ahead and break this down into three types of relationships. Those that are already in a relationship, those that are looking for love, and those that are single and happy. All right, let's get started with current relationships. We're going to go to the good stuff first and then the challenging. I love that you're showing up in a really good way. So I see love and empathy in this card. I also see a lot of love and support in friends, family, and the environment. Sometimes it's too much. So this can be seen as peer pressure. It can also be a card where there's so much love that it becomes suffocating. So there's a lot of love around you. Lean into that if you need it. In this relationship, for those of you that are in it right now, here's what I see. I think that there could have just been a sharp comment that got taken out of context, or someone that spoke when they were having a bad day. And there's a little bit of fallout over that. It does look like this can be managed, but I think the key thing is if possible, if you watch this earlier enough, just try to take the high road in communication. And if something out of sort, out of character happens, check in with the partner and see where they're at, where this came from. Is it because they're sick, or they're working too much, or they're dealing with something that they haven't yet talked to you about? Getting that context will help you decide if you need to react the way you were initially going to react, or if there's more to the story. And that's the big thing here, is something could get blown out of proportion that doesn't need to. I see also just, again, an emphasis on being as honest, as transparent as possible. I know that it's challenging. There are times where it's sort of like, how do I say what I need to say? It's better if you say it sooner, and it's better if it comes from you. So this is a month where secrets really don't hold a place at the table. I mean, I don't think they ever do in a relationship, but they're going to see the light of day. So be the agent of communication and change. And the sooner you do that, it's like taking a bandage off, the sooner things can heal. Just simply validating one another for the things that you bring to the table are going to be so important, because we have these two cards of love, and in between them is, normally this would be the conjunction, but it's a weak link right now. So both sides could do a better job, possibly just saying, I love you, or I see what's going on, or do you need anything? Some just checking in and validating. Speaking of that empathy and understanding, it feels like both of you are being pulled in a lot of directions. Remember, at the end of the day, the most important connection is the two of you. This is the true family. So if you are feeling pressure externally, put the focus back on the two of you. Allow for unconditional love and support to come through. Be as honest as possible. And in doing so, you can move in the right direction. I think there's a lot to celebrate in this spread, but there are some challenging points. Honesty, integrity, and empathy. If you can lean into these things, anything is possible in a relationship. If you don't, it's going to be a little bit challenging. So that's my tried and true advice for those in a relationship. Now let's look at those that might be trying to find love. For all the Libras that are looking, can you find love? An emphatic yes with the Two of Cups. This person may already have a ready-made family, or they may be very intent on getting serious quickly. Pause. Hit the pause button if this is the case. I see some people that are coming through that may be on the rebound. So they're interested in just sort of like almost replacing the previous partner with someone new before either of you get a chance to know each other. You want to enter into the relationship fully aware and fully informed. Seven of Swords could be someone that is withholding information. So slow down, get to know them, figure out what happened in the last relationship, see if there is extended family that is going to be a part of this sort of connection. And if you're cool with all of that, then move forward. But just don't rush into anything. That's my main advice. Can you find love? Yes. There's no specific sign except maybe from the past. Could be another air sign coming through. But other than that, what I'm really getting the focus being on right now is health, recovery, and slowing down to get to know the person. So really having a more traditional sort of dating experience. How can you meet the person? Well, through friends, family, and any sort of events that are going on in your life, whether it's a work party, a summer gathering, a wedding, even like a professional event where you're not looking for love, but nonetheless, you have a chance to make connections, all of that, okay? So I don't have any doubt that you can connect with people. Just make sure that both of you are equally healed. You can start the work on yourself. And by doing so, remember, like attracts like. So once you've done the work, you'll pull people in that have done the same. When I think of a bear, I think of someone who is a little bit shy, and a little bit territorial. So it could be difficult to break the ice, but this is a sun bear here and kind of has that bright energy. I would flash a smile that can disarm this sort of like stoic energy that's otherwise in the bear. All right, so that's everything that I'm seeing for those that are looking for love. Let's shift the focus to happily single. It's a great time to be happily single. You're going to make some important strides on just general health and well-being. Many of you have worked really hard on something, and the payoff, the recognition is happening now, and it comes with a certain level of surprise. So I see major career movement for Libra that are not in focusing on relationships right now. And I see increased health benefits too. Like right now, you're going to get healthier. You'll have a chance to finish projects that you otherwise wouldn't have, and you're still going to possibly meet with new people. But because you're kind of detached from it, you just become a magnet. People are like, you're easy to talk to. It feels like there's no pressure. And you're like, because there isn't. And as a result, you actually might increase your pool of friends and even love interests. So even if you're single and happy, I see some love coming in. Just take care of yourself. That's the overall takeaway when we're looking at relationships this month. It all starts here. Now let's move on to your destiny card. It's really interesting that I picked up on what we actually see in the crowning position. So Typhon is a mythological creature that has that energy of anger and rage. And lo and behold, that's what we're actually seeing take center stage here on this Three of Swords. The takeaway here is don't initiate a conversation with someone if they're angry or if you're angry. Take a step back. If you have something to say, make sure there's constructive elements to anything critical. Make sure you get someone else to listen to what you have to say to make sure that it comes across with the right tone. Face-to-face meetings are ideal. That's going to help make everything much easier to digest, and you're going to be able to read the tone and the sort of like the undercurrent as well of what's going on here, and it won't come across too angry or too anything. So if you can have a face-to-face conversation, do that. All right, let's take this a couple of steps deeper and look at sun, rising, and moon sign messages for Libra. Libra sun, Libra rising, and Libra moon. You've got some great energy coming forth here. Now it's all positive. Lo and behold, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Let's get back into the channel messages for a second and we'll compare and contrast that. Before I do that, the wheel can represent for many of you a change of direction, a change of karma, something really positive. And as we talked about earlier, this is a chance to also reset the timeline. And one of the keys to success, as I said in there, is just the ability to keep moving. Oftentimes when other people would have given up, your persistence, your perseverance, your professionalism, that's what's going to set you apart from others. And you know what? This sun bear is coming through here as well. The ability to be strong and a little stubborn, that's also going to be important in this as well. Notice here that she has a couple of, like, rolling the dice. She's willing to take a risk on herself. Believing in your capacity to do something is also really important. But listen, this could be a great month to turn a new corner in your finances or in your career. I said that already for those of you especially that are single and happy. If you just want to put some of the energy in that part of your life, once again, it's coming through loud and clear. It looks like July is going to be an exciting time, particularly there. All right, let's go ahead and move on to rising sign messages. We also see the ability to connect and find new love. And we also see your sensitivity coming through really, really strong here. So Queen of Cups is creative, empathetic, an amazing leader because people enjoy being in her presence, and she's in control of her emotions. She's countering what we saw here with Typhon. So being able to channel the energy, even to take something that might be sad or frustrating and turn it into something creative, artistic, or at least, if we go back to this Tarot of the Abyss, looking at the Ten of Swords and saying, I learned from that. I learned from that, and maybe I'm going to share this with others. I'm not going to allow myself to get pulled in to someone else's energy. She's on top of things. You have the ability to be on top of things as well. You may also pull in a water sign, by the way, for those that are looking for love or a specific type of partnership. But definitely, Libra, you're already naturally artistic and tuned in. This is a great time to put your energy into a creative endeavor if you'd like to. All right, moving on to moon sign, success. But success on your own terms, Libra. The Six of Wands upright is just success as you would expect, but reversed, it's saying you do not have to fit into someone else's box or expectations, that you're doing things not just for the applause, like that old Lady Gaga song, but also because it is fulfilling, it is satisfying, it is your calling. That is what's going to not only speed up the success, but also keep it ongoing and sort of sustainable. And you have the ability to also push back if people are expecting too much or trying to get you to do something that just doesn't feel right to you. One more card for you. This is the final question. If you have something that I've yet to answer, this is your chance to send that to Spirit and see what your guides want to say. So we get a resounding yes for yes or no. Aces are all about potential though, so with that yes comes this caveat. Anything that you're willing or ready to do requires follow through, so Spirit is saying, what are you going to do to make this happen? Like an egg, it requires incubation, it requires protection, it requires time. A seed requires nourishment, also a little bit of patience and protection. So this seed of intention that you're planting right now has the potential to bloom several months from now, but give it time. Don't force it. Don't rush it. There could be a new offer on the table for you, an offer in love, a new career opportunity. There could be travel associated with the next step of growth. I didn't say that earlier, but now it's coming through. So you have to decide if the trade-off is worth it. But I'll take an Ace of Pentacles any day as the final card. That's a really nice way to wrap things up. So yes, Libra, there were some challenging cards today, but there were also several great ones. And we see that you have a chance for major expansion and growth this month. Pay special attention to your connections. Be especially honest and lead with integrity, and avoid anything that kind of takes you out of that patience and that calm that Libra is known for. There could be someone that's testing your patience this month, but you're going to walk the high road as we talked about. All right, that's everything for today. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and it also lets me know that you enjoyed this. Additionally, you can follow me on social media. It's always my first and last name on all major platforms. Please be smart about the imposters. There's always one out there. I don't offer readings, and I don't send direct messages. So if you see anybody doing that, block, report, let me know about it, and stay safe. You can always give back right here on the channel through super stickers, super chat, and of course memberships. That helps me do a lot of different things. Show up every day, and also every 3 or 4 months I put out a podcast as well. So thank you for your support in those endeavors. At the end of the day, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your support and for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I hope you have a great month ahead. Wishing you all the best. Take care, Libra.